At the start of the drama, we meet Chen-mi, a girl who dreams of becoming a toy designer. One day in class, she falls asleep and suddenly wakes up from a strange dream. The teacher notices her and asks her to answer a question. Confused, she quietly asks her classmate Huang what the question was. When she hears it's about advanced mathematics, she casually replies that it's just a very difficult subject, making the whole class laugh. Just then, Jiang Wei, the male lead, walks in late and apologizes. Hearing his voice, Chen-mi quickly hides her face, recognizing him. The teacher tells her to answer properly, and when she finally stands up with her cap covering her face, everyone laughs again. After she removes it, the teacher agrees with her answer but reminds the class to take the subject seriously. After class, Jiang Wei approaches Chen-mi, but she nervously tells him to stay away, pretending she has a contagious virus. Jiang Wei finds her reaction strange, while Chen-mi assumes he's there to lecture her. As she tries to leave, she nearly bumps into a tree, and Jiang Wei stops her, saying he has finally found her after 2.5 years and wants to settle things. When he confronts her about leaving without telling him, he calls it betrayal. Chen-mi tries to brush it off, but Jiang Wei keeps questioning her. Eventually, she admits it and tries to walk away, but he stops her again, demanding to know the reason. She distracts him and runs off. Later, Chen-mi sits with her roommates, chatting casually. Her friend Luo Si talks about a beautiful girl on campus, saying no one like her has been seen in years. Chen-mi agrees and even jokes that the girl is so stunning that a doctor once couldn't even give her an injection. Luo Si jokes that when the doctor finally gave the injection, he even slapped himself like he made a mistake. Just then, the beautiful girl they were talking about walks in Chu Miao. Smiling, she lightly teases Chen-mi, saying doctors always take injections seriously. Chen-mi then introduces Xu Miao to her friends Lu Su and Jia Gua, the top student in their class. Later, Chen-mi visits a toy exhibition and feels excited seeing all the creative designs. At the same place, Jiang Wei arrives with his father and is warmly welcomed. His father insists that being there is important, but Jiang Wei argues that he came to work not to put on a show. His dad reminds him of his talent and how his choices sold well before, but Jiang Wei says he's busy as a vlogger and doesn't work for free. After a funny bargain, they agree on a small payment, and Jiang Wei reluctantly accepts. At that moment, Jiang Wei notices Chen-mi and quietly walks away to watch her. She looks around, unaware of him, and happily takes photos of the toys. Jiang Wei, on the other hand, secretly records her. Meanwhile, Xu Miao runs into her old senior, Jianze, who invites her to watch his game before leaving. As she stands there, another boy approaches her and introduces himself as Bao Jia Gua, the class monitor. He tells her he has signed her up for a table tennis competition, hoping she'll win for the institute, but Xu Miao, clearly uninterested, refuses and tells him to leave. Xu Miao coldly tells them she doesn't want to talk and walks away, warning that as long as she's around, they'll never win. Jie Gua tries to convince her to at least stand on stage, saying they can win just with her presence. When she explains it's because of her beauty, Xu Miao gets angry, steps on her foot, and makes it clear she hates being judged that way before leaving, while Jie Gua cries out in pain. Later, Chen-mi is walking with her face covered when Jiang Wei suddenly pulls off her mask. She tries to act calm, saying breakups are a part of life, and some memories are better left in the past. But Jiang Wei shows her a video he secretly recorded of her at the toy exhibition, shocking her. He threatens that if it goes viral, her chances of getting into Hangjingji will be ruined. Panicking, Chen-mi makes up silly excuses, saying she left him because she prefers muscular guys or that his looks weren't her type. Jiang Wei doesn't believe her and insists she's hiding the truth. Finally, she admits she can't remember the real reason and asks for time. Jiang Wei agrees but keeps the video as leverage, telling her to call him when she remembers. Before leaving, he asks her to accept his friend request, which she eventually does. Meanwhile, Jiang Wei returns to his room, where Huang confidently brags to Jia Gua that attracting girls is easy for him. He also mentions that Chen-mi will design their poster since her drawing skills are excellent. Jiang Wei overhears the conversation and later asks Chen Mi to fix his bicycle. She complains, but he insists, saying the repairman charges too much. As she quietly fixes it, she mutters that he's too stingy and she's glad she left him before. While standing there, Jiang Wei spots a girl eating steamed buns and suddenly orders Chen Mi to bring some for him. Then, seeing others with soft drinks, he asks for those too. After some time, Chen Mi returns with everything and messages him to come down. Jiang Wei takes his time, and when he finally arrives, she complains about climbing so many floors just for him. He casually takes the food and tells her to meet him the next day to make a poster for his election campaign. Chen Mi suggests printing one instead, but Jiang Wei refuses, saying it's too expensive. She calls him stingy again, while he casually asks her to bring the same tea next time before walking away. In the next scene, a football match is taking place between Jiang Wei's and Jiang Ze's teams. Meanwhile, Chen Mi sneaks into the changing room by distracting the watchman, searching for something. At that moment, she gets a message from Jiang Wei telling her to bring him a water bottle after the match. So, she heads toward the field and quietly tries to take his phone from his bag. Just then, Jia Guan notices her and reminds her about the water bottle, handing one over to her. Chen Mi takes the water bottle and secretly tries to unlock Jiang Wei's phone, but the password doesn't work. On a guess, she enters her own birth date, and to her surprise, it opens. Shocked, she finds a video where Jiang Wei talks about their past relationship. Just then, Jiang Wei appears and tells her the video is already uploaded, so there's no point trying to stop it. When she asks why her birth date is his password, he casually avoids the truth. At that moment, another girl offers him water, but he refuses. This reminds us of their school days, when many girls tried to give him water after matches, yet he would only accept it from Chen Mi. The next day, Jiang Wei waits in a quiet forest for Chen Mi. He makes space for her to sit, but she brings her own chair and starts working, asking him to pose for a full-body sketch. As she draws, Jiang Wei notices a happy couple nearby and looks away. Chen Mi asks him to smile, but he refuses, even after she tries to cheer him up with a joke. Still, she continues sketching. However, Jiang Wei keeps rejecting her drawings, pointing out flaws again and again. When he finally comments that the eyes in the drawing look sad, Chen Mi gets annoyed and snaps back. Their argument grows, and Jiang Wei hints that he's been bothering her on purpose. Frustrated, Chen Mi finishes a drawing, hands it to him, and angrily says she left school because he's annoying and revengeful, then storms off. Looking at the sketch, Jiang Wei realizes it's actually a funny cartoon version of him, which makes him smile. Later, Chen Mi sits angrily by herself, dipping a bun in water when she notices a cat nearby. She offers it the bun, but the cat refuses to eat it. Jiang Wei appears and jokes that cats don't eat plain buns. He adds something to it, and the cat finally eats, making him laugh. Chen Mi gets irritated and tries to leave, but Jiang Wei stops her and sincerely praises her drawing, admitting he didn't expect her to be so talented and that he understands she's upset. Chen Mi quickly takes back her harsh words, saying she spoke out of anger. Jiang Wei calmly tells her that what's done is done, and if she doesn't want to explain why she left, he won't force her. Relieved, Chen Mi asks if everything between them is okay now. When he agrees, she tells him to forget the past and move on, then asks him to delete the video. But Jiang Wei refuses, saying he'll keep it as motivation until the campus ambassador selection is over, hinting that she still needs to make a great poster for him. Realizing he's still playing with her, Chen Mi gets annoyed, but Jiang Wei warns that if he doesn't win, her dreams might also be affected. Saying this, he walks away with the cat, leaving Chen Mi flustered and confused. Meanwhile, in class, Huang wonders why Chen Mi is absent, and Jia Guo worries since her advanced math is already weak. Jiang Wei hears this and messages her, teasing her for skipping class. On the other hand, Chen Mi is busy finishing a beautiful poster for him. Suddenly, an announcement is made that all candidates must submit their posters before noon or be disqualified. Hearing this, Chen Mi rushes out with the poster. Jiang Wei hears the same announcement but ignores it at first, focusing on his work. However, when he looks outside and sees Chen Mi running with the poster, he feels happy. He quickly submits his paper and goes to check the poster, feeling impressed and proud as he takes a photo of it. Later, he finds Chen-mi resting and jokingly points out a small mistake in her drawing, laughing lightly. Trying to change the mood, Chen-mi hints that since everything feels nice now, maybe they can talk, but Jiang Wei casually suggests enjoying the moment instead and sits beside her. Watching him, Chen-mi wonders if he's remembering their past. Just then, Jiang Wei brings up their high school days, but Chen-mi avoids the topic and reminds him that she has done her part, so he should delete the video. Jiang Wei simply brushes it off, saying they can talk about something else. Chen-mi quickly brushes things off, saying they're just classmates and have nothing to talk about. Jiang Wei doesn't believe her and makes a deal: if she wants him to delete the video, she has to help him win the ambassador election. This sudden condition irritates Chen-mi, but Jiang Wei simply tells her to meet him before the lights go out and walks away. Later at a shop, Chen-mi runs into Jaegwa. Feeling guilty, she starts apologizing for skipping class, even though he hasn't said anything. She sweet-talks him to distract him, then suddenly points somewhere and runs off while he's not looking. The shopkeeper hands Jaegwa some sanitary pads. Chen-mi forgot, assuming they belong to his classmate. Embarrassed, he hides them and chases after her. Meanwhile, Chen-mi asks Xu Miao to cover for her if Jaegwa shows up and quickly disappears. When Jaegwa arrives, Xu Miao misunderstands the situation after seeing the pads, gets flustered and gives them back. Feeling awkward, Jaegwa throws them away and runs off. Later that night, Chen-mi waits for Jiang Wei on the terrace. When he arrives, he confronts her with an edited photo. She casually explains it's just compositing, hiding something bad with something better. Jiang Wei questions why she used his face, but Chen-mi jokes that if he's willing to show his real body, it wouldn't be a problem. Slightly annoyed, Jiang Wei asks about her next plan, and Chen-mi hands him some papers, saying people's interests have changed now. Chen-mi bluntly tells Jiang Wei that skinny guys like him are no longer popular, and people now prefer strong, well-built candidates because they easily get votes. Jiang Wei feels offended and asks how he looks weak. Chen-mi casually replies, "With both my eyes." To prove himself, Jiang Wei breaks a piece of wood, but Chen-mi confidently breaks even more, leaving him embarrassed. She then shifts the focus, saying if looks aren't enough, he should work on his personality. She presents 4 plans, starting with winning people's hearts by giving small benefits to supporters. Jiang Wei calls the idea cheap, but Chen-mi assures him there are better plans ahead. At the same time, Xu Miao goes to arrange a mic and speaker. While waiting, she checks a laptop at the shop, which the owner says is overloaded with files. Just then, Jia Guo arrives and reveals it's his laptop. When Xu Miao suggests deleting some files, Jaegwa gets flustered and defensive. Teasing him, Xu Miao jokingly names and deletes embarrassing files, making him blush and panic. Back on the terrace, Jiang Wei starts to like Chen-mi's strategy. She explains that this plan will make people see his kind and genuine side, both inside and out. As she finishes, Chen-mi gets ready to leave, saying she has ordered supplies for the election. Just then, she receives a call informing her that her parcel has arrived and needs to be picked up soon. Chen-mi quickly answers the call, saying she's on her way. After she hangs up, Jiang Wei reminds her of the nickname Miss Lucky Go and asks if she remembers why she got it. This brings back a memory from school where other girls whispered that Chen-mi must be very lucky since Jiang Wei always helped her and walked her home, probably because she once saved his life. Hearing those back then made Chen-mi feel uncomfortable. In the present, Chen-mi admits she remembers. She explains that she was just an ordinary girl, but being close to the popular Jiang Wei made everyone call her Miss Lucky Go. Jiang Wei nods and suggests they go together, but Chen-mi refuses. Still, he insists on coming along to see her preparation. When she jokingly asks if he'll pay, he refuses and says he just wants to observe. They go to collect her parcel, which also contains some personal items. As Jiang Wei tries to carry it, Chen-mi quickly stops him, embarrassed, saying it's not just election stuff. She grabs it herself and runs off, leaving Jiang Wei amused. Later, Jiang Wei hands another parcel to Jaegwa, asking her to pass it to Chen-mi. Meanwhile, Chen Mi and Xu Miao open a package, only to find a bright floral bedsheet inside. Xu Miao mocks Chen Mi's taste, but Chen Mi realizes it's not hers, it actually belongs to Jie Guo. Before they can fix the mistake, Jie Guo arrives. As Chen Mi apologizes and returns the parcel, the bedsheet falls out, making Jie Guo angry. She scolds Chen Mi for opening it without permission. Xu Miao defends Chen Mi, saying it was her mistake. But Jie Guo, still upset, warns them not to repeat it and storms off, leaving the atmosphere tense. Seeing Jie Guo's reaction, Xu Miao gets upset, but Luo Si calms her down. Soon, election day arrives and Chen Mi and Xu Miao dress up in costumes to promote Jiang Wei, asking everyone to vote for him. Jiang Wei also joins them in a panda costume, and Chen Mi first calls him cute, then quickly corrects herself, saying he looks stylish. Just then, Huang and Jie Guo show up and start teasing Jiang Wei. Huang jokes about his outfit, but Chen Mi shuts him down and reminds him that Jiang Wei once helped him avoid embarrassment. Annoyed, Huang starts campaigning on his own. Meanwhile, Jia Guo grows curious about who is inside one of the costumes. When Xu Miao hesitates, Chen Mi reveals it's Luo Si. Jia Guo then takes Luo Si aside to help, but instead mocks Xu Miao, joking that she wears a wig. Furious, Xu Miao exposes him by revealing his embarrassing secrets and storms off after kicking him. On the other side, Chen Mi and Jiang Wei continue promoting. Some girls ask for photos, and although Jiang Wei refuses, Chen Mi agrees on his behalf and even promises extra rewards to attract votes. After they leave, Jiang Wei makes it clear he won't actually do those things, and even threatens Chen Mi about the video if he loses. Frustrated, Chen Mi compares him to the more popular Wu Dabao, saying he can't compete. Determined to prove her wrong, Jiang Wei suddenly starts dancing, grabbing everyone's attention and pulling the crowd away from Wu Dabao. Seeing this, Chen Mi feels pleased. The moment also brings back a memory of the past, where Chen Mi playfully asks Jiang Wei when he first noticed her. She guesses it might have been the rainy day when she bought a big umbrella, and they walked to class together, staying dry side by side. Jiang Wei tells Chen Mi that he noticed her even before all the moments she mentioned. She keeps guessing maybe the basketball court incident or the first day of school, but Jiang Wei simply smiles and says he had recognized her from the very beginning. Confused, Chen Mi follows him, wanting to understand what he means. Jiang Wei then reminds her of something from 12 years ago. He talks about how he used to be weak, lonely, and had no friends, except for his cat, Cloudy. Chen Mi immediately remembers. A childhood memory unfolds where Jiang Wei is crying over his cat's death while other kids mock him. In anger and pain, he fights them, but they start beating him back. Just then, young Chen Mi steps in, scares the kids away, and comforts him, saying his cat has gone to a better place. Jiang Wei recalls that moment as the time he saw her like a savior, someone who protected him when he had no one. Back in the present, Chen Mi quietly realizes something painful, that Jiang Wei didn't fall for her because of who she is now, but because he mistook her as the hero from his past. It feels like he saw her as someone else all along. Later, Jiang Wei wins the ambassador election and gives a speech. Huang hands Chen Mi a flower, saying it's Jiang Wei's favorite. Looking around at everyone bringing flowers, Chen Mi wonders how she can stand out. As Jiang Wei finishes speaking, girls rush to give him flowers, but he refuses them. Chen Mi also encourages someone else to give theirs and starts to walk away. Suddenly, Jiang Wei collapses, and the scene shifts to him being taken to the hospital. When Jiang Wei wakes up, he realizes he's holding Huang's hand and quickly pulls away in embarrassment. Jia Guo arrives and explains that he fainted due to a flower allergy, then accuses Huang of spreading the rumor. Huang shifts the blame to Chen Mi, and Jiang Wei confirms that she was the one who encouraged everyone to bring flowers. When asked where Chen Mi is, Huang says she left out of fear that Jiang Wei would be angry. The next day, Jiang Wei confronts Chen Mi. She apologizes, saying she never expected things to go so far. Jiang Wei calmly tells her he has already deleted the video, so she is free now and doesn't have to follow his demands anymore. After saying this, he walks away, leaving Chen Mi feeling guilty and conflicted. Meanwhile, Shu Miao meets Zhang Zi, who is fixing his bicycle again. She gently helps him and reveals she notices everything about him, making the moment soft and sweet. When she spots a letter in his bag, Zhang Zi explains it's from a girl, but admits he hasn't opened it because he's not interested. This secretly makes Shu Miao happy. At the library, Jaguar confidently takes a seat and argues with a boy sitting there, only to realize he's Shi Hao, a top student she admires. Excited, she introduces herself and asks for guidance about postgraduate studies. Impressed yet curious, Shi Hao listens as she eagerly tries to connect with him. Later that night, Chen Mi finds Jiang Wei's campaign poster in a shop and takes it with her. Sitting alone in the garden, she questions her own feelings. She got what she wanted, freedom from him, yet she still feels uneasy. Just then, Huang shows up and teases her for standing beside Jiang Wei's poster. Chen Mi brushes it off, saying it's just a memory. But Wang warns her not to overestimate her place in Jiang Wei's life. Campus stars like the popular girl and the handsome guy feel distant, and Huang tells Chen Mi she should learn to compliment people instead of hurting herself with unrealistic thoughts. Chen Mi misunderstands and accuses him of secretly following Shu Miao, calling him cheap. Huang disagrees, explaining that this place is just a casual hangout known for gossip. As they talk, Zhen Mi asks about Shu Miao's relationship, and Huang replies that this place isn't meant for her, but for ordinary people like them and Jaguar. At that moment, Shi Hao and Jie Guo arrive, but Chen Mi quickly pulls Huang away. Later, Shi Hao learns they were Jie Guo's classmates. Back in their room, Chen Mi brings a poster with her, saying it's her first work and she wants to keep it as a memory. Shu Miao feels awkward and asks her to turn it around, which Chen Mi does before continuing their conversation. Soon after, Chen Mi receives a message and excitedly tells Shu Miao she's been invited for an interview at Hengcheng Mi. Although she doesn't have designs ready, she confidently decides to create them herself. Determined, Chen Mi visits a factory to produce her toy designs, but because her order is too small, no one agrees to help. Disappointed, she leaves. Meanwhile, Jiang Wei arrives at the same factory with Shi Hao to place an order. The director is surprised that Han Changmi is only ordering 20,000 pieces instead of their usual large numbers. Shi Hao then introduces Jiang Wei as the young boss behind the plan. Yang Wei explains that the companion cat series won first place in their company and has great potential, convincing the director to accept the order. As they step outside, Shi Hao mentions their limited budget, and at that moment, Jiang Wei notices Chen Mi nearby. Jiang Wei quietly follows Chen Mi as she tries once again to convince a factory manager to produce her designs. She pleads with him to accept a smaller order, explaining that she can only afford a few hundred pieces, but the manager firmly refuses, saying their minimum is much higher. Heartbroken, Chen Mi walks away with no choice. Seeing her upset, Jiang Wei approaches her and takes her out to eat. At the restaurant, Chen Mi starts drinking heavily, trying to hide her disappointment. When the shop owner worries about his struggling business, Chen Mi encourages him with hopeful words about life's ups and downs. Then, turning to Jiang Wei, she opens up about her dream of becoming a top designer at Hansheng. But her emotions overwhelm her, and she begins to cry, feeling like her dream is slipping away. Jiang Wei gently stops her from drinking more and looks at her designs, realizing they are actually very good. He reassures her that she will get her chance, but Chen Mi, already discouraged, feels it's too late and questions why dreams are so hard to achieve. Jiang Wei calmly tells her that dreams aren't meant to be easy, which makes her agree through her tears. Later, Jiang Wei takes the drunk Chen Mi to a hotel so she can rest. As he helps her lie down, he accidentally falls onto the bed beside her, pausing for a moment as he looks at her. The next morning, Chen Mi wakes up and is shocked to find Jiang Wei right in front of her. Chen Mi suddenly recalls the chaos from last night. She had been standing on a chair, singing loudly and completely off-key, while everyone watched and laughed. Even though Jiang Wei tried to stop her, she wouldn't listen, so he had no choice but to carry her away to a hotel. Remembering this, Chen Mi feels deeply embarrassed and tries to slip away quietly. But just then, a staff member walks in, misunderstands the situation, and quickly leaves, making things even more awkward. Yang Wei, however, stays calm, pulls Shenmi back, smiles at her, and falls asleep as if nothing happened, leaving her stunned. Later, Jiang Wei takes Chen Mi back to the factory manager who had rejected her before. At first, the manager gets annoyed and threatens to call security, but everything changes when he recognizes Jiang Wei. Trying to explain their relationship, Jiang Wei starts to say something, but Chen Mi quickly calls herself his classmate. Still, Jiang Wei hints they are closer than that. Using his influence, he asks the manager to help her. Though the manager insists on large orders, Jiang Wei firmly negotiates until he finally agrees to produce just 1,000 pieces for her. This makes Chen Mi extremely happy, and they leave together. Afterward, while waiting at a bus stop, they witness a beautiful meteor shower. Chen Mi excitedly makes a wish to get a job at Hengchengji. Jiang Wei lightly teases her, saying she's being too greedy with her wish. When she asks about his wish, he replies that he already made one long ago and making too many wishes can stop them from coming true. Hearing this, Chen Mi is reminded of a special moment from their past in high school, when they once watched a meteor shower and made wishes together. In the past, when Chen Mi asked Jiang Wei about his wish, he refused to share, saying that wishes don't come true if you tell them. But in the present, he finally reveals he had wished for both of them to study in the same university, same department, and even the same class. And now, it has come true. Just then, the bus arrives. Jiang Wei helps Chen Mi with her luggage, but when she asks if he's coming along, he says he still has work to finish. Later, Chen Mi rushes to class after getting a call from Xu Miao, who warns her that the teacher hates late students. As she runs, Jiang Wei appears behind her, greeting her with a smile. She's surprised to see him again so soon. Meanwhile, Huang and Jia Guo remind them to hurry to class. Jiang Wei offers to help, but Chen Mi goes ahead, only to find no seat left. Just then, she learns the teacher has stepped out. When she arrives, she sees him scolding late students outside, so she hides in fear. At that moment, Jiang Wei distracts the teacher by asking a question, giving Chen Mi a chance to sneak inside safely. From afar, she quietly thanks him. After class, tension rises when some girls hint that a thief is in Chen Mi's room. Xu Miao confronts them, demanding they speak clearly. The girls claim Jia Guo told them about missing items. Shocked, Xu Miao questions Jia Guo, who admits spreading the rumor because things had gone missing, even Luo Xi's belongings. Luo Xi tries to calm things down, suggesting it might be a misunderstanding, but the situation escalates. Jia Guo directly asks Chen Mi to swear she didn't take anything. Huang steps in, stopping Jia Guo from going too far in defending Chen Mi, reminding everyone that she had protected Jia Guo's secret before. He urges Chen Mi to speak up for herself. Just then, Jiang Wei also arrives and firmly says he trusts Chen Mi completely, showing his support when she needs it the most. Chen Mi calmly asks Ya Guo to talk in private, and he agrees. But the other girls mock her, saying she must be guilty if she wants to hide. Ignoring them, Chen Mi walks away with Ya Guo. Jiang Wei tries to stop her and ask what's wrong, but she pulls her hand away and tells him not to question her. In the room, with Xu Miao and Luo Xu present, Chen Mi finally explains everything. She admits she took Jia Guo's sanitary pads in an emergency and had bought new ones to replace them, but lost them on the way. Jia Guo demands proof, and when Chen Mi can't provide any, he accuses her of lying. Xu Miao defends Chen Mi, saying it's such a small issue, and that she trusts her. Suddenly, Xu Miao remembers something Jia Guo had said earlier, and realizes the truth. She takes him aside and pressures him to admit it. Jia Guo finally confesses that he picked up the pads, but claims he later threw them away. Xu Miao gets angry, pointing out that Chen Mi is being called a thief because of this. She tells him to replace them, but Jia Guo refuses at first, saying it's embarrassing. When she insists, he runs off in frustration. Later, Jia Guo vents to Jiang Wei about the situation. Jiang Wei tells him to take responsibility. Feeling forced, Jia Guo disguises himself with a cap and goes to a store. Nervous and embarrassed, he looks around carefully before picking up the sanitary pads and heading to pay just as a couple of boys suddenly recognize him and call out his name. When the boys question Jiaguo about what he's buying, he quickly hides the sanitary pads and pretends he's just picking up random items, tossing a few extra things on top to avoid suspicion. After paying, he secretly takes everything to Xu Miao. She asks if he really brought them to prove Chen Mi's innocence, and Jiaguo says yes, even mentioning he had sent proof earlier. But as Xu Miao checks the bag, she suddenly finds something inappropriate inside, which makes her furious. She throws the box back at him, calling him shameless. Jiaguo is shocked, insists he didn't buy that item, quickly hides it and runs off awkwardly. Later, Xu Miao gives the pads to Chen Mi, who then returns them to Jiaguo. However, Jiaguo suddenly accuses Chen Mi again, this time about a missing watch. Chen Mi firmly denies it. Just then, another girl arrives and reveals that the real thief has been caught. Luosi scolds Jiaguo for going too far this time. Feeling guilty, Jiaguo leaves but soon comes back, apologizes sincerely to Chen Mi, and returns her belongings. Chen Mi forgives her, and Xu Miao asks Jiaguo to clear everything in the group chat, which she agrees to do. The tension fades as the four of them make up and share a warm moment together. In the next scene, students are filling out forms for different activities. Chen Mi notices Jiang Wei signing up for a basketball event. She approaches him, but he avoids her and keeps things formal. When she politely asks for a form, he tells her that girls aren't allowed to join that platform. Chen Mi calmly explains she's filling it out for a friend, and Jiang Wei silently hands her the form. Chen Mi tries her best to convince Jiang Wei and even invites him to dinner, but he still submits the form and walks away. Later, Chen Mi and Xu Miao begin collecting cheerleading forms, but they're told the spots are already full and the rest must try next year. This makes Chen Mi upset, so Xu Miao quietly gives her own form to her. When Chen Mi worries about her, Xu Miao simply tells her to keep watching and steps forward to talk to the seniors. However, they refuse to listen and her bold attitude starts to annoy them. Chen Mi quickly pulls her aside and insists she take the form instead, saying she isn't confident anyway. Just then, Zhang Ze arrives and greets Xu Miao, making her happy. He asks about the situation, and though Xu Miao downplays it, he leaves and soon returns with help, securing one spot for them. Xu Miao agrees, and he reminds her not to be late. Later, Xu Miao and Chen Mi go to watch a football match. After it ends, Xu Miao follows Zhang Ze while Chen Mi brings water for Jiang Wei. But before she can give it to him, Huang suddenly takes the bottle, reminding her she was supposed to bring milk for him. At that moment, the coach approaches Huang, praises his performance, and decides to register him, asking for his height. The coach questions Huang's height, but before he can answer, Jiang Wei confidently says he is taller. The coach then asks Huang to be honest, and he gives a different number, even dragging Chen Mi into it. Chen Mi quickly calls him out, reminding everyone that his height hasn't changed since school, and even teasing him about how he once cried during a fitness test. She also points out how short he looks next to Jiang Wei, which annoys Huang and makes him tell her to stop. But Chen Mi doesn't hold back. She brings up how Huang once almost made it into the national youth team, but was rejected because of his height. This shocks Huang, while Chen Mi playfully winks at him. The coach, now curious, asks about it, and Chen Mi explains that although Huang was talented, his height didn't meet the requirement. Huang tries to brush it off, but the coach reassures him, saying the team made a mistake and that he won't repeat it. He admits Huang may be a bit shorter, but praises his teamwork and decides to include him in the team. Grateful, Huang promises to work hard, though he jokingly argues about his height one last time. The coach laughs it off and leaves, with Huang following him. Meanwhile, Chen Mi hands a water bottle to Jiang Wei. As he starts to walk away, she softly asks if he's still upset with her, reminding him that she already apologized. Jiang Wei asks Chen Mi if she understands her mistake. She admits that she embarrassed him by shouting in front of everyone. Hearing this, Jiang Wei simply laughs and walks away, leaving her unsure of what he really feels. At the same time, Xu Miao follows Zhang Ze, but overhears a girl teasing him about her. He casually says they're just friends and that she isn't his type, even asking if the girl is jealous. Hearing this breaks Shu Miao's heart and she quietly walks away, feeling hurt. Later, Shen Mi goes to buy water for Jian Wei and notices how many girls are doing the same. Wanting to stand out, she finds the biggest bottle in the shop and proudly gives it to him, saying she worked hard to bring it. She even offers to bring more before leaving. Jiang Wei can't help but smile after she's gone. When another girl asks if he still needs water, he jokingly responds and then takes Chen Mi's bottle back to his room. In the room, Jie Guo notices a strange smell, but no one else seems to care. As Jia Guo starts writing on his laptop, Jiang Wei quietly holds the bottle with a soft smile, clearly thinking about Chen Mi. When asked what's special about it, he refuses to explain, saying others wouldn't understand. The conversation then shifts to love and breakups. Jiang Wei admits he has loved someone before and still has feelings, choosing to stay lost in that emotion. Wang jokes that people usually turn to bad habits after a breakup, while Jiaqua disagrees, calling that idea outdated. Meanwhile, Shu Miao returns to her room in a messy state, showing just how deeply she was hurt by what she heard. Shen Mi notices Shu Miao's condition and asks if she's been drinking. Shu Miao admits it with a forced smile, saying she's happy, but her actions tell a different story as she quietly checks Zhang Ze's messages. Luo Si guesses she's going through heartbreak, and Chen Mi agrees. Suddenly, Shu Miao breaks down in tears. Later, Shu Miao recasts down in tears. When Chen Mi encourages her, Shu Miao opens up, asking what to do if someone she loved for 3 years turns out to be a bad person. Chen Mi boldly says she would scold him and move on. But Shu Miao admits it's not that easy for her. To cheer her up, Chen Mi starts criticizing Zhang Ze, saying he's not good enough for her and listing his flaws in a funny way. Slowly, Shu Miao starts laughing, feels better, blocks his number, and finally begins to eat. That night, Jiguo calls Shu Miao outside and confronts her. He tells her that even though she's pretending to be okay, her pain is obvious and she can't hide from it forever. Shu Miao denies everything and tries to leave, but just then Zhongze appears with another girl. Hurt, Shu Miao hides behind Jiaqua, gripping his shirt. After Zhangze leaves, she can't hold it in anymore and starts crying. Jiaqua awkwardly tries to comfort her, guessing she had a fight or a breakup. But Shu Miao, overwhelmed, says she just wants to be alone. Shu Miao, already upset, tells Jiaqua to stop bothering her. He awkwardly tries to comfort her, saying breakups are normal and maybe they weren't meant to be together in this life, but could meet again in another. His words only make her more emotional, and she starts crying again. Not knowing what else to do, Jigol hands her a tissue and quickly leaves. Meanwhile, Luo Shi goes looking for Fang Mao and finds out he's in the canteen. When she arrives, she sees another girl feeding him, which surprises her. Fang Mao is shocked to see Luo Si, especially when his friends ask who she is. He introduces her, and Lucy confidently greets everyone and gives him a gift handkerchief, which she gently puts on him. He then takes her to eat, while his friends are impressed by how boldly she revealed their relationship. Later, Chen Mi helps Shu Miao practice for the cheerleading team, reminding her she has missed many classes and even got warned by the teacher. Shu Miao complains, but soon joins the other girls, while Chen Mi goes to change. At the same time, the basketball match continues, and the cheerleaders are called to perform. Chen Mi rushes out but struggles with her zipper. Jiang Wei notices and helps her fix it, then quietly asks her to meet him in the garden after the match. She agrees and quickly joins the performance. In the end, during the final round, Jiang Wei leads the team to victory. Everyone celebrates the win, and Chen Mi happily runs after Jiang Wei. Shu Miao, however, quietly starts to leave. Zhang Ze stops her and invites her to join the celebration, but she refuses and tries to walk away. When he questions why she's been distant lately, she coldly tells him not to think too highly of himself and leaves, ignoring his calls. Jiaqua, who has been watching, quickly steps in and makes an excuse about her application being approved, asking her to come with him. Zhang Zi tries to stop her, saying she looks tired, but Xu Miao insists she's fine and leaves with Jiahua. Once outside, she realizes there's no real reason to go to the office. Jiahua admits he just wanted to help her escape and gently confronts her, guessing that Zhangze is the one who hurt her and that she joined cheerleading because of him. Hearing this, Xu Miao gets emotional and questions why she ever liked him. Jia Guo tries to comfort her in his own awkward way, reminding her not to be late for class the next day, and she quietly agrees. Meanwhile, Chen Mi waits for Jiang Wei in the garden, but Huang shows up and casually tells her that Jiang Wei left with another girl. Shocked, Chen Mi rushes out and sees them together, which breaks her heart. She leaves without saying anything. Later that night, Jiang Wei waits for her, but she never shows up. Yang Wei messages Chen Mi, but she replies that she's busy and can't meet him. After seeing her message, he quietly leaves, while Chen Mi breaks down and cries alone. Later, back in the room, Luo Si tells everyone she saw Jiang Wei with another girl and thinks they seemed very close. Xu Miao wonders if he has a girlfriend, and Luo Si agrees, describing the girl as beautiful and mature. Hearing this, Chu Mi stays silent, clearly hurt. The conversation then shifts when Luo Si brings up Jake Guo's relationship. She reveals that Jake Guo's boyfriend is downstairs questioning her, wondering if she only stayed with him for her studies. Jia Guo arrives and calmly says their relationship is already over, so it doesn't matter anymore. Just then, Shihao calls out to her from below, confessing his love, but a staff member sends him away. Luo Si says Shihao truly cares for her, but Jia Guo replies that loving someone is his choice, while breaking up is hers. She explains that their paths are different. He's going to the village, while she plans to study abroad. When asked about exams, she says they don't matter much compared to studying overseas. Luo Si questions her decision, but Chen Mi simply says love shouldn't feel like pressure. With that, Chen Mi quietly takes Jiang Wei's poster and steps outside, leaving the others wondering if she has feelings for him. Luo Si teases that keeping someone's poster everywhere clearly means there are feelings involved. Xu Miao agrees and jokes that maybe Chen Mi and Jiang Wei fell for each other while arguing. Luo Si then tells Xu Miao she should get a boyfriend too, but Xu Miao replies that she's already been in many relationships and is now tired of it all. In the next scene, Chen Mi is carrying her toy design models when a box suddenly drops. Jiang Wei quickly helps her pick it up and gets excited, saying her designs have arrived and he wants to see them, but Chen Mi stops him, saying it's better not to open the box now because it would be difficult to carry. Jiang Wei playfully insists, reminding her how he helped her, but she refuses again, explaining that revealing them now would ruin the special moment of the ceremony. Understanding her point, Jiang Wei smiles and agrees that they should celebrate such moments properly together. Chen Mi softly agrees, and he helps her carry the boxes as they walk off side by side. Afterward, Chen Mi rushes to class and sits beside Huang, but she clearly isn't focused. When class ends, the teacher scolds her for not paying attention and warns that she doesn't even understand basic concepts. Chen Mi promises to study later, but when she opens her book, it's filled with doodles, making the teacher even more disappointed. As she turns around, she notices Jiang Wei sitting behind her. Feeling awkward, she quickly packs her things. Jiang Wei approaches her and tries to help by pointing out important topics and formulas, but Chen Mi politely refuses, saying she wants to study in her own way. Later, while sitting in the canteen, she seems lost in thought. Xu Miao tries to cheer her up by sharing a story where a boy secretly helps a girl he likes by giving his notes through her friend to protect her pride. Chen Mi listens quietly. At that moment, Jiang Wei arrives and leaves his notes on the table for Chen Mi before walking away. Xu Miao finds it sweet, but Chen Mi doesn't react much. Soon after, Huang comes and mentions Jiang Wei was looking for her. Without much thought, Chen Mi hands the notes to Huang and asks him to return them. Huang is impressed by the notes, but when Jiang Wei finds out, he gets upset and throws them down in frustration, drawing everyone's attention. After class, Jiang Wei confronts Chen Mi, asking why she gave his notes away. She reminds him she wants to study independently and keeps her distance, calling them just classmates. Hurt by her words, Jiang Wei questions if that's all they are, but Chen Mi avoids answering and walks away. asking him not to act like that again. Left confused, Jiangwei wonders what he did wrong. Later, back in the room, Xu Miao starts a live stream, singing for her viewers. Jiagua watches quietly, clearly enjoying it, while Huang also praises her voice. Yagua then suggests having a karaoke session for the class activity, and everyone agrees, including Jiang Wei. Huang jokingly asks Jiang Wei to bring his girlfriend, mentioning the older girl everyone has seen. Surprised, Jiang Wei realizes even Chen Mi might have heard this rumor, and he laughs, deciding to attend the event. At the karaoke, Huang keeps singing for a long time while others get bored. Finally, Jia Guo steps in, stops the music, and takes the mic, saying others should get a chance too, while Huang argues that no one else seems interested. Huang insists that no one else wants to sing and sits beside Chen Mi. When Jia Guo asks about Xu Miao, Chen Mi says she was busy, but Huang teases that she simply didn't feel like coming. He also points out that Jiang Wei isn't there yet. Just then, Jiang Wei arrives, and the girls invite him to sit between them. He first refuses, but then ends up sitting between Chen Mi and Huang anyway, pushing Huang aside. This makes things a bit awkward, and Chen Mi shifts away, while Jiang Wei quietly moves closer to her again. Soon, a large fruit platter arrives. Jia Guo is confused, but Jiang Wei reveals he ordered it. As everyone eats, Jiang Wei offers a strawberry to Chen Mi, remembering she likes them. She claims she doesn't anymore, so he eats it himself, but gently asks if she's upset with him. She denies it. He then asks her to play a song, but she refuses, so Huang steps in and starts a group song with a rule that only single people can sing. One by one, they pass the mic, and when it reaches Chen Mi, Jiang Wei suddenly takes it and sings. This makes Chen Mi smile, and Huang even jokes while recording that people would be shocked to know Jiang Wei is still single. After singing, Jiang Wei again offers Chen Mi a strawberry, and this time she accepts it. Seeing this, he happily keeps giving her more. Later, after the karaoke ends, Jaguar helps a drunk Huang leave, but then notices Xu Miao nearby and goes to check on her. Meanwhile, Chen Mi and Jiang Wei walk together. Jiang Wei notices her cheerful mood and asks why. Chen Mi playfully says it's because her double chin has reduced. But when he disagrees, she laughs and says it's actually because her mother increased her pocket money. Jiang Wei teases Chen Mi, saying she gets happy over small things. She then asks about the girl who gave him water earlier, wondering if she's his girlfriend. Jiang Wei laughs and explains that Bairan is just a family member, jokingly asking if she's jealous. Chen Mi quickly denies it, but can't hide her happiness. As she walks away smiling, Jiang Wei calls her back and asks if they can be together again. She agrees without hesitation. Jiang Wei gently holds her hand and notices how cold it is. As they walk, he asks when she started liking him. Chen Mi shyly admits it began when she made his poster and even kept it close because she couldn't sleep without seeing it. Hearing this, Jiang Wei playfully asks for the poster, but Chen Mi panics since she had thrown it away earlier. She makes an excuse, but Jiang Wei guesses the truth. Still, she promises to give it to him someday, and they continue walking together happily. Later, Chen Mi goes for an interview at Hun Chung Group. Although the judges like her designs, she isn't selected because they need someone with a different academic background. Feeling disappointed, she sits outside when the design director, Yu Dewei, arrives. While on a call, he struggles to recall a design name, and Chen Mi helps him. Impressed, he talks to her, reviews her work, and realizes her talent. He then offers her the job and asks her to join from Monday, leaving Chen Mi overjoyed. Excited, Chen Mi meets Jiang Wei at a restaurant and shares the good news. He proudly says he always believed in her. Noticing his bag, she asks for his notes, joking that she should benefit from having such a smart boyfriend. Jiang Wei laughs and gives them to her, encouraging her to pass the exam. Chen Mi playfully suggests they keep their relationship secret until exams are over, teasing him, and he reacts in surprise while she quickly takes back her words. Jiang Wei tells Chen Mi he won't be able to go on holiday with her because he has to take care of his shop, though he keeps the details a secret. Curious, Chen Mi asks about it, but he just smiles and avoids answering. Later, Jiangwei is at home with his parents, who are being overly affectionate with each other. Feeling a bit awkward, he grabs a pineapple and decides to step to eat alone. His mom asks where he's going, but he casually brushes it off. At the same time, Jaguar returns to her house. While looking at a family photo, she feels sad noticing that her own picture isn't there. Just then, her mother arrives and is surprised to see her. Jaguar simply explains that she came home because of the holiday.